Is it the first time you hear someone saying general solution today, man? Yeah, it's something. I was thinking, I took my step back and I'm like, Eshkana, you might not know the whole concept of finding a general solution, because look at this. As much as when we have to solve the part, can choose the left side, the right hand side, someone may choose the right hand side to simplify things and say sine theta plus 1 is equals to 0, which makes cos theta to be equal to minus 1. If that's the case, then what would be the reference angle of theta?
It would be 180.
It would be 180. Now, since the reference angle, is this our solution or not? If so, is that enough to give me the 5 marks? I think it would give me 3 marks probably. Now we have the so-called general solution. For general solution, we all know that angles rotate every. We know that angles rotate every 360 degrees, right? And if I was to plot a cos graph, the amplitude is going to be 1 and minus 1, such that the graph will end up in form it goes, if it's positive like that, at 1 at minus 1, that's when you get 1/8, right? But if your solution is at 8, it doesn't only end there, because this graph is going to continue and continue and continue and continue. So you need to include all the solution. That's why we call it the general solution. One. So in this regard, everywhere where cos is equals to minus 1, cos is minus 1 here, cos will be minus 1 here, cos will be minus 1 here, cos will be minus 1 here. All those are the solutions going forward. Hence, we call them the general solution. So to write the general solution, you say x starts from 108. But it also includes any other angle on the rotation of 360 multiplied by k, given that k is an element of real numbers. That's how you write the general solution from today. I'm going to make a specific lesson. About this, but for now, you must just know this is how you write your general solution from today. It's only, you want all the values where cos is minus 1, because if cos theta is equals to minus 1, your reference angle is cos theta being minus. So you're looking for all the angles that include your initial angle. So that's how you go with the solution. things could change. Like, for instance, we could have, just for interest's sake, we could have cos 2 theta is equals to 1, whereby our reference angle could have been, say, 2 theta is equals to 108, whereby our reference angle ends up being whatever. So when we look at it, it's like we look at it as now, say maybe 2 theta is equals to 180 plus 360 k, while k is an element of z. But I'm not happy because it has 2. I must divide by the 2 all the time. So it will end up being theta is equals to 90 plus 180 k being element of z, but it's the same solution, you see. So the important part about the general solution is you must write it, whatever angle you get as your reference angle, you must stretch that part there. And it will also be determined but by whatever value you have on the angle, whether it affects the 360 and the 180 or whatever initial angle you may have. Hence I say I need to make a separate lesson explaining only general solutions, because I can say it's something that for some of you, you are just seeing it for the, because last time you just had to get, they never even specified it as the reference angle. All you needed to do was just to calculate the angle J. Now things are just changing now, of which we'll take it there. But otherwise, the whole solution for you to get the 5 marks, this is how you write it in the form of the general solution. After getting your 180, that this information here can only get you like 3 marks, because we call that the reference angle to help you get the actual general solution. So the general solution is x is equals to 180 plus 360 multiplied by k, while we should consider that k must be an element of z. You, mommy, guys, what do we mean when we say it is an element of Z? Mathematically, what does this part mean? K is an element of Z. Do you still remember what this Z represent? Sometimes it can be upside down and then they say natural numbers.
Does it mean
Sometimes.
it's an integer?
Now you're talking. And in your understanding, you see now with an integer, we're talking about anything going from 0 to the right or from 0 to the left. If we're talking about horizontal axis, anything that is involved in the form of a number, you see. So, yeah, it's those things which I feel like I'm gonna have to create some notes here. It's a revision of things we've done in the past, and you never thought they would come back. And they, not that they left, they had been there. It's just that probably they put them on a on a freezer somewhere on the side to chill. But it's something which we've been doing in the past. But anyway, let's keep going. We are almost there. 5.3. 5.3 shouldn't be 5.3 shouldn't be anything to worry about for us, because I feel like it's still fresh in our memories. So for 5.3, in the diagram below, A is a point on a Cartesian plane such that AOT AOT is alpha. So AOT is from here. AOT is alpha. AOT is alpha like that. And then with OA being given as 4, we can see it there. OA is 4. And then we have point P, which is KM, which is a point such that OP is equal to 6, and it is said that AO is perpendicular to OP. Guys, they wouldn't give you any information every information that is given on the question, it's somehow relevant for something. They wouldn't just give you any information that you are not going to use for anything. Any information that is given, it's useful for something. Now, look at this. In order to determine the value of B, that shouldn't be a problem, right? The value of B, the value of B shouldn't be a problem. Is there anyone who wants to volunteer? This one, I'd rather wait until someone says something. How do you think we can find the value of B? 2 marks, opening question. Anyone? You know, when yeah, oh, that was my diagram, but anyway. I'll get used to this technology, Lynn. Now we learn like this. I will get this technology right as we go. Anyway, so anyone wants to volunteer with the value of B?
Sir, so 4 is the length of OA.
Yes, 4 is the length of OA. So OA as given. Mara, at least do you see which chapter are we looking at? Do you see in terms of what we have there? Do you still remember what should be done at least to get B? Because they're just not saying it. Somehow this thing could have been a triangle, the right angle triangle. It's just that whenever we look at, remember, that's why I said we must get used to not thinking of it as a triangle, but thinking of it as, so instead of it as a triangle, you are looking at it as it is just a radius. It is just a radius that goes from the center to there with a point X and Y. And they say the reason why we say it's a radius because it rotates. So that's why alpha moved from there to there. But it can go back to where it was, as it ends up rotating in a circle. So wherever you go around that circle, whether you are in a first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, or fourth quadrant, we can always think of it as just a radius that goes XY that is connected to R. My network is showing me flames, guys. Can you hear me properly? You still can hear me, don't you?
Yes, sir.
My network is reporting on my screen. Hooray. All right. So so as much as it looks like that, it's always a radius. The reason why we always think of it as a triangle is because we can construct any type of that thingy wherever, but it's always a circle that can be explained in a triangle because of the Pythagoras part of it. I just gave you a clue of how to do 5.3.1. So what is the value of R in terms of what I have there? It would be 4 because R is equals to OA. That's your radius. And then you have a radius that connects to a point XY. On your radius, X is equals to B. Y is equals to 1. Now, here is the most important part of everything. Remember, I said the other time, Hori, you must keep in mind whenever you look at the Cartesian plane, the signs of your values. Hori, on the first quadrant, X is positive, Y is positive. On the second quadrant, X is negative, Y is positive. On the third quadrant, they are both negative. And on the fourth quadrant, X is positive and Y is positive. Now, in this regard, we already know that the value of B, it has to be a negative. I'm just giving you some punchline of looking at these things before you even approach the question itself. Somehow, because A, it's on the second quadrant, and I know that according to the nature of the diagram that we made notes of the other day, we know that on the second quadrant, X is negative, B is positive because value, those are negative x's and those are the positive x's. You see, already you know, but you might not know because you expect two values which are positive and negative. And for you to expect two values, it means there's one theorem that should come to your mind, which is, I wish I had Banabago preaching. They would tell that Pythagoras theorem. And I'm not gonna have that dream in my life because clearly I'm not gonna be a teacher go preaching, and I don't. I guess you guys won't even protect to give me that dream of behaving like Banabago preaching. But anyway, okay. So to calculate B, we're gonna use Pythagoras theorem. Do we all agree or do we all understand?
Yeah, I understand.
So to get that Pythagoras, then it's going to be R squared is equals to X squared plus Y squared, straight to point, because I'm looking for X, which is B. I'm going to substitute 4 for R, and then I'm going to substitute B for X, and then I'm going to substitute 1 for Y. Then I'm going to make B subject of the formula. So I would have B squared, no, it's 4 squared. I would have B squared is equals to 16 minus 1. Therefore, B squared is going to be 15. Square root. B should be plus or minus square root of 15. Let me put it like that for now. We can simplify it, but let's leave it like this for now. Because in between, yeah. So B is going to be plus or minus 15. Because you have two values, you have to choose whether you are taking a positive or a negative. So because it is on the second quadrant, B has to be negative exponent of 15. That's the part where I say, if B was on the first quadrant, would have taken it as positive. So that part matters to know on each and every quadrant, what do I have in terms of positive and negative? It matters more than, I don't know. It matters more than knowing that negative times negative gives you a positive. This part matters like that, knowing the shape of your the given points in each and every quadrant. In the first quadrant, any point there, X and Y are positive. In the second quadrant, any point there, X value has to be positive, Y value has to be positive. Third quadrant like that, fourth quadrant like that. Then we go. Determine without the use of a calculator the values of. Now that we have our values, we are happy with everything. We are happy. Let me substitute the values that we had there. I'm going to stick to square root of 15. So square root of square root of 15 and 1. Now we need to get we need to get 10 alpha. We don't even stress. 10 alpha is y over x, right? And I know that my point is minus x and y like that. So y would be, y would be minus root 15 over, oh, no. Y would be 1 over minus root 15, which is just going to be negative 1 over root 15. You can leave it like that. It's fine, man. You see, you would get the answer. But we have this interesting one, number B. Let me give you a task, guys, to shake, to give you, like, let me just, because now it feels like I'm reading the news. Let's be active. Let me give you number B to try for 5 minutes, and then you're going to send me your answers, and then we'll compare all our answers, and then whoever was wrong, we'll do it all together. Is that fair? I'm okay. The parts that I'm asking that it's fair, I'm talking about the part where I said 5 minutes, because at the end of the day, you're gonna do it anyway, because we just want to see if I get this part. We talked about it in the beginning, yeah, and relating to this. I just want to say something. Remember, you are allowed to be wrong. Rule number 1 of the house: being wrong is not a sin. You are allowed to be wrong as many times as you can. So 5 minutes is enough to try it, ne?
Yes, sir.
Whoever who finishes first, just send me a picture. Yeah, whoever who finishes first, just send me a picture on WhatsApp. If also you are struggling from, you will tell me, you will let me know on WhatsApp. But we're not gonna display anything. Remember, no names, nothing. So 5 minutes with you now. Who's done already? Just waiting for me to talk or waiting to hear where do we stand now? Okay, I get the idea. I get the idea. Let me wait for one or two of you guys. Some of you, I'm receiving the pictures. I'm just waiting for everyone to send. You are still, Kumo, are you still scratching your head? Hooray. How do I do this one? At this point, I can take whatever answer, whatever you have up to so far. Like whatever step you are stuck on, just to correct how we can look at it. Maybe, just maybe, it might give us some clarity of other things as well. Not just because, like I say, the reason why I wanted you guys to try it is because it relates with 5.1 exactly as it is. Not that exactly, but those 180 inside, they still apply on this thing. Because I said, for a case where you have a negative angle, like that negative alpha, I mean, that negative cos alpha, for us to have cos of negative alpha, it could have been cos of 0 minus alpha. It's just that we don't necessarily have to write the 0. So it means instead of rotating to the positive side, we are rotating from 0. From 0, we are subtracting going down, which lands you on the fourth quadrant. sine minus alpha minus 180 degrees plus cos alpha, negative alpha. But before I go forward, I'm gonna comment to, okay, very good. I'm gonna comment to one of you guys. I'm gonna write a comment on WhatsApp. That's the comment. Because if you are able to survive taking these things out of the brackets, then you have literally won your case, because the values you get them from that triangle that you calculated there. Because your R is 4, your X it was minus root 15, and your Y was 1. Those are the values that you have. So from this, you would then have minus sine, but look at this. This is minus sine. I'm gonna take the negative out. Look at this, to make this the way you guys did, to be theta plus 180 degrees, plus cos of negative alpha, such that this part on its own is giving sine of negative alpha also. It's just that the alpha is combined with another angle that was added from it, but it's also giving the same vibe that the cos part is giving. Now, where do we find the side of sine minus alpha? I said this side is from, since we measure angles from 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and 270 this side. When we go from 0 going up, we go positive angles. That's why we say plus, plus, plus. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up until 90. What if we were to subtract going back? If we were to subtract going back, that's when we'd have this quadrant, which would be 0 minus alpha. And if it's 0 minus alpha, that's your fourth quadrant, where only cos and sec are positive. Every other thing there is negative, meaning sine of negative alpha will result as negative sine alpha as well. So that would be your first step, because I know you will see why I'm saying this. So we would have minus sine alpha. Oh, no, 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 no. Minus sine alpha plus 180 degrees. Because so far, I only solved the negative part of it. So for cos, since cos it's on the fourth quadrant, cos has to be positive for that angle of 0 minus alpha. So I will say this is gonna be plus cos alpha, because cos of negative alpha is positive. So now, so far, this negative comes from the mysterious negative we had there. I still have a bigger elephant in the room, which is to remove this. Now, alpha plus 8, whether I say alpha plus 8, I can still write this as sine. So you can see it as something you're familiar with. I can say 90 plus, I can say 180 plus alpha equals alpha, like that. So to get rid of that, what quadrant is that? Is it first, second, third, or fourth? 180 plus alpha.
It's in the third quadrant.
Sure. In the third quadrant, is sine positive or negative? On the third quadrant, only 10 is positive. The rest, 10 and cot, on the third quadrant, they're the only ones that are positive. The rest is negative. So we have the negative that we have and the negative that came from the quadrant plus cos alpha. So as a result, we're only going to have sine alpha plus cos alpha, positive. Some of you, you might be happy with what you had. Some of you, the signs here and there, they could be doing the things just like just most of you. Let me tell you something. To be honest, I'm so proud fact that most of you got minus sine x plus cos x. Sine x plus cos x. So most of you got this part. To this step, it is impressive, but be careful of analysis of your sign. Like be careful, like something like some of the things you must not memorize them as such, but as a grade 11, grade 12, grade 10, grade, actually from grade 11 going up, you have to be in a state where you are able to know without even proving it, or cos of negative theta will be positive cos theta. Sine of negative theta would be negative sine theta. It's just all that, like these things, they're going to help you. But also the strategy of how you extract the negative from there to make it become positive here. It's also, actually, like I say, I just selected this question just to see where we stand. It would be the best idea to go back and practice such things again, go 1-1, separate, more especially with the negative angles. Ne? But yeah, we'll talk about that on our other lessons there. Now, I don't know if we're gonna need that information or not, but now we have to find without the use of a calculator, determine the values of K and M. Given that, remember, you have so much information to support you there. Mara, it's 5 marks. If a question is 5 marks, it means you know or you must think, yeah. Where do we stand for K and M? Just by looking at it, it's just too much. Ne? Or you are still thinking, guys? You know, my favorite, my favorite word, Molfatsing. I think you guys know by now. My favorite word, I don't hear it all the time. I hear it, maybe it exists on those one-on-one lessons. When you hear someone go like, oh, dude. For someone who transfers information to people, when you hear that sound, dog, it's so satisfying. You feel like, yes, we've hit the point of the goal. Like we understand each other. So without the use of a calculator, determine the values of K and M. What do you know so far? I can, like, there are so many things to say, guys, as an opening sentence. I can open and say, what if I said R in that regard is equals to 6, which is equals to OP? Do you guys agree? Would you agree if I said that? You know, sometimes the thing is when you keep quiet, I feel like maybe you went to the bathroom or to the kitchen to fetch something. But if two people keep quiet at the same time, you're like, okay, sharp. Is the network fine? Is my voice? Sometimes it's not even a matter of seeing if you understand these things, just to check if people are still alive on the other side. So you are still alive, ne?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, think of it like this. We have different views to approach. We have different views to approach this. One of the views being as that perpendicular part should give me a huge light bulb moment. This part where they said OP is 6 and they said AO is perpendicular to OP. Already, that part is a giveaway. You already have this point is minus root 15 and 1. You have this point, you know that point O is always going to be 0 and 0 because that's the beginning of everything, right? And then P, K is going to be X and Y. So I don't think it should be that hard.
So could we use like is it appropriate for us to use like the formula for like um a straight line, like the length of a straight line where it's like a square root, and then within that square root we say x2 minus x1 and then close bracket, like that one. Is it appropriate to use it here? I mean, because we already have the length,
We already
or
have the
do I
length
need to?
and we have 2 points. We
Yeah.
can do that. Let's do that. So we can do that. Remember, it's mathematics, man. And this is our last question of the day. So we can argue and play around with it the way we want. So the general formula for a circle, for those who know, it says x minus a squared plus y minus b squared. Well, it could be plus or minus, doesn't really matter, depending on x minus plus da 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 squared is equals to r squared. So in your regard, you say, I would say k minus 0 squared plus m minus 0 squared is equals to r squared, which gives me the distance formula of OP to be square root of just k squared plus m squared. As much as you know what MP is, so you're going to have 6 is equals to square root of k squared plus m squared. As much as that is 5 marks, don't you think that is taking you way too far? Because
Yeah.
you have for you to solve for k and m, you will have to develop another equation and solve them simultaneously. And your other equation, you can decide to use the gradient maybe and say gradient of OP multiplied by a gradient of OA will give you -1 since they are perpendicular. But you are doing too much of you are doing too much of analytical geometry on a trigonometry question. So let's go back and remember where we are dealing with cos, sine, and tan mostly. So on quadrant number 1, what do you know about quadrant number 1 and alpha?
That in quadrant number one, it's 90 minus and 360 plus.
Yes. So since you know what's happening there, you can say to yourself, okay, wherever here on this quadrant, I'm going to choose any identity I like. Suppose I choose cos, then I'll say cos 90 degrees minus alpha will be whatever I have. But cos 90 degrees minus alpha should be somehow equals to x over r. Meaning cos 90 degrees minus alpha is going to be k over 6. Do you agree? Now, anyone who can answer me what's going to be cos of 90 minus alpha if we simplify it based on the fact that on the first quadrant, everything is positive?
Yeah, would it just be cos alpha? Or we could we also use co-function identities, or we're just gonna use.
Thing is, I said something important which you don't have to forget regarding 90 degrees for cos and sine. Very important. As much as I always say it all the time, but guys, this part is important. If, for instance, you have sine of 90 degrees minus x, as long as it involves 90, sine must change and becomes cos. If you have cos of 90 degrees minus x, since it's the first quadrant, they are both positive anyway. So this is going to change and become sine x. If you have cos of 90 degrees plus x, this will become, it was supposed to become positive sine x. But because on the second quadrant, cos is negative, so it's going to be minus sine x. And then if you have cos sine of 90 degrees plus x, is going to be positive cos x. Guys, don't forget the case of 90 degrees when you are dealing with these things. Again, memorize don't memorize, okay, store it somewhere in that file which you put things that you remember all the time. This part in your brain. So this is interesting. This is an interesting question, guys. It's 5 marks. Look at this. Sine of alpha is equals to k over 6. But the goal is to find k. What do I do next? What I'm going to tell you is, remember the fact that everything is happening around the same Cartesian plane. No, I was thinking someone was going to be like, oh, and we're not getting that. But think of it like this. In your previous question, what was sine alpha when we're simplifying that part? In 5.3.2.b, that part where you had a section of sine alpha, what was sine alpha at that moment? Even if you don't remember, you can look at it now, because we know that this is minus root 15 and 1. So what do you guys say? Look, after we simplified this, remember when we simplified b, we ended up having sine alpha plus cos alpha, of which some of you got it as a negative. What was sine alpha in that instant when we were solving it there? given that being wrong is not a problem, guys. And from a previous solution, sine is x over r. Your x is 1, your r is 4, so sine was 1 over 4. Okay, at least, am I right that you got this, all everyone? 1 over 4. I think whether whether we are recording or not one. So k over 6 is equals to 1 over 4 because they are both equals to sine alpha. By doing that, you already found the whole thing. Because from here you're gonna cross multiply and you'll find that 4k is equals to 6, which makes k to be equals to 3 over 2. So if k is 3 over 2, to find if k is 3 over 2, to find what's this? To find m, what are you gonna do? That's why I'm like, sometimes I feel like maybe the microphone is failing me or the sound is delivered late or something. But anyway, what would be the process of getting m now? Given that we are allowed to be wrong.
Do we use Pythagoras?
That's the only way. That's the only way. Because somehow this thing becomes the way I say. It becomes a right angle triangle. You already have the value of k. K represents your x part, which is 3 over 2. Now you are looking for the opposite part, which is m. So you're basically looking for y. So clearly you would say r squared is equals to x squared plus y squared. Therefore, y squared is equals to r squared minus x squared. Therefore, y squared is equals to 6 squared minus 3 over 2 squared. For interest's sake, let's compare our answer for y. Everyone, you can solve it 5 minutes. Nyana. We are almost, this is our last task of the day. know? So while you I just thought of something. So I was trying to find a way where when we do problems like this, ne, where you guys should feel like it shouldn't be like a quiet classroom. So I was trying to find a way if I could play music nyana from the background, you know. So I realized that music it's gonna work for us, yeah, but in future it's not like gonna be like the right thing wherever you wanna use the thing for, because unless you use songs that you compose yourself. So now I developed a new career. You see, there's that AI thing where people are making music from that Suno thing. Have you heard about it, guys? Have you heard about Suno?
Mhm.
It's an where you can make like AI music. So you know what? I'm gonna compose a lot of a lot of songs that has something to do. Like I'm gonna make it my own. I'm gonna make it my own style. So while you are solving something like this, it's either the song is discouraging or encouraging, or it's either it's you know those you know those things from the background where it's either it's like some ding, 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 ding. What do you think, guys? Is it a good idea? So you shouldn't be quiet when we're solving problems. We should have like some, you know, that sound when the background, like the movie, like we can't put on a piano, obviously, but it has to be like some dun, 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 like that inspiration, yeah, to be like, yeah, I'm doing this, I'm getting the answer right, type of a thing. Or you feel like you feel like Demon or Cryela, we are not kids, ne? But, but look, all in all, it's just I just want us to think of like I'm trying to find a way to come up with a way to think of these lessons as they're not as hectic as school. And the difference is school has a negative part of it. The negative part of school, it's when you are in class, it's quiet, you are learning. The best part of school is when during lunches, when you meet up with your friends, chilling, having all the best moment of your time. And we know that no matter what happens, you would go to school. I remember, Luna, you don't know. Luna, you don't know. You guys, you don't know. You know, when I was young, I used to hate school until this other time. I was having a crush on one of the teachers who was teaching. So what I did is I would be motivated, dog. Like I would motivated to go to school. Like my mom was wondering, but since when do you like school, Red? And I'm like, I had my own stupid motivation. So I'm like, if you guys can have like some entertaining yana, don't you think? Well, okay, obviously we live in a world where all the entertainment you need, you already have it on your phone. But I'm open to suggestion, Hori, for class not to be boring. Bring this, bring that, bring that. Already I'm putting it color. I'm putting different colors on the screen to make it understandable. So each and every section is separated from each and every section. I'm trying to in the like I'm just trying to find a way for you guys to can have that freedom. Yahuri. That's the place we go as a I can say as encyclopedia because I can't say ChatGPT because we work different. Encyclopedia because that's where I get the information to can help me just do better. It has nothing to do with anything. But it's hard. It's hard to get you guys to it's so hard, yo. Like I'm trying different means. Hence I'm saying I'm trying to find the dopiest motivation to make you guys feel like we are doing this thing. You see. So what do you think it can be done? What do you want us to improve on these lessons to make them more interesting? Yeah. We're gonna suggest later, ne?
Okay.
Or or the music idea, the the background music movie, dang, 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 dang. It's not a go, ne?
I think the silence helps us focus and to like hear you better when explaining.
All right. I know. That's what I'm saying. Coming from you guys, that's how I know, bro, we are going like this route. So, yeah. So, or I think another way would be, as much as we don't have to break for those 10 minutes anymore, I can just put out the question and then maybe I display the meeting. I pause the meeting for a couple of minutes and then you do it and then we take it from there, because without having that pressure, are you done? You know, also, like I say, I'm going to try to find all different means I can to make this thing um be, because it's true. Even I, even I myself, during my school days, too, I was not a fan of these things, to be honest. There came a point in life where I realized, hey, even if I'm not a fan, I need to eat food. And for me to eat food, I I have to invest in trying to be a fan. So I understand, like, nothing regarding school was ever nice. The way this system is so designed, so bad for everyone, dog. Like, it's bad. It's just that older people are not gonna say. Like, I feel like I'm the only honest person around people that you see as uncles, whatever, like us, the older generation. I'm one of the few. You can just find few who actually admit, for a pillar these things. It's not really funny one, but because they have to be done for us to have some sort of security, we just have to force it. It's like everything that benefits us, it's never nice. Eating vegetables it's not nice. Like, on a plate full of meat and whatever with vegetables, I would rather remove the veggies and eat by, like, you see, like, vegetables are not nice. If you go to gym and whatever, it's never a nice thing. But the reward of having a flat stomach, having a healthy body, that's what everyone dreams of. But the hard part of going there and run and do those kilometers, it's not the fun part. So we can relate it in all different forms. Nothing is nice, Joe, regarding school. Nothing from like, I can I can mention every part of it while you are still going through it. There's no nice part except for the part, like I say, where you are meeting up with your friends and catching up at school. But after you are done, you still gotta go through other problems in life, but at least you would have removed one, which is illiteracy of things. But just to secure some sort of a job in the community, to say, you have these papers that says we can employ you here and you can have a house there. That's just enough to make life easy for whatever. You can go through other problems, but at least the security of a job, making career money, whatever. So we are just doing this for that. Otherwise, there's more to life than this, man. So I have to do another lesson right now. Let me leave you guys to it. You're gonna send me your final answer when you have it, then we're gonna discuss it, ne?
Yes,
Just just try to finish it up 5.3.3. I am interested in, like, it's not even, this one is not even a hard question, because it's just testing how I'm putting this on, because I wanna see how you're gonna deal with the fraction under Pythagoras. But this part that I'm leaving you with right now, guys, is clearly just grade 9 work, which we're just trying to see if you like remember revision. So because I have to go with another lesson, I have to drop it from here. But you're gonna send me the thing on WhatsApp. We'll talk on WhatsApp if we can have other lessons later. But I mean, it's a Saturday, man. We can go as much as we want, given on how tired or fresh you are, ne? I'll talk to you guys one goal sighting, ne?
yes, sir.
Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Like, guys, please, like, we have to solve this part. Because, like I say, sometimes it's about maybe the recording, or sometimes it's not. Mara, let's not be shy to talk, man. There's like no one knows mathematics. Even I myself, I don't really know these things. It's just that I have a paper that said I'm qualified to do this thing. But in reality, if you can give me another equation tomorrow, like for instance, if they can bring me one of the papers that I wrote in university, if I didn't prepare for it, I can fail myself right now. As is, well, it depends. It depends what year it is. If it's first year, maybe I can pass. But if they can give me a module like on a third year module or on an honors level, and they say I must write the exam now, you'll be surprised. Like you must joke with your elders one day and you ask them like, if I was to give you a grade 10 mathematics paper right now, the way you are shouting at me when I'm bad at it, will you pass when and just to see what they're gonna say. But sharp guys, see you later. Sharp ne?